how scientist David Shaw applied mathematical methods in trading and earned $7 billion. An employee of Columbia University opened an investment company and was one of the first to entrust transactions not to people, but to algorithms. In 2021, the fund manages $60 billion in assets, and Shaw retired from management and is engaged in structural biology, so as not to be dumb. David Shaw was born in 1951 in Los Angeles into the family of a theoretical physicist and artist. His parents divorced when he was 12 years old. His mother remarried finance professor Erwin Pfeffer. The stepfather introduced the boy to economic theories and often took him to work at the University of California, San Diego. Shaw tried to make money from his teens. At the age of 12, I borrowed $100 from friends to shoot a horror movie that I wanted to show to my friends. The ticket was supposed to cost 50 cents, but the plan did not come true. The film was lost during development in the laboratory. In high school, I bought 3 sewing machines and hired classmates to sew ties. Shaw wanted to sell them to shops, but no one bought them. After high school in 1968, he entered the University of California, where he received a bachelor's degree in applied physics and computer science. In 1973 he studied computer science at the Stanford Graduate School. In his student years, he founded a company that created compilers, programs that convert program code into machine code. On this, Shaw began to make money, but his supervisor did not like this. He hinted that it would be difficult to combine study and entrepreneurship, and advised him to choose science or business. Shaw chose science. In 1980 he defended his dissertation, received a PhD and got a job as an assistant professor at Columbia University in New York. According to a colleague's recollections, the scientist came to work in a Ferrari and hired a personal PR manager for himself, and according to Wired, he was a long-haired and bearded surfing musician. At university, he worked on a project for an experimental parallel computer. Shaw said that he wanted to make a machine that would work like a human brain. If an ordinary computer has a powerful, but only one processor, then its development had to consist of several slow processors working simultaneously, like neurons. This was the first such project, Shaw said. For him, he received a grant from the state, assembled a team of 35 people and built the first prototype. When he was ready, it turned out that the money was not enough. Another $10 to $20 million was needed. Shaw began to look for them, offered the idea to investors, but no one invested. In 1986, a scientist who never found the investment for his project was offered to become part of a research group at Morgan Stanley. He was offered a salary 6 times the university salary. He agreed. He shaved off his beard, put on a suit and fled to Wall Street. Shaw worked in a department that, using mathematical methods of quantitative analysis, searched for anomalies in a large body of securities data that the bank could benefit from. The method was called statistical arbitrage. At Morgan Stanley, a scientist began to use a supercomputer. Several parallel processors were simultaneously looking for anomalies. He had no experience in trading, but the leaders promised to give him the opportunity to develop his own strategies. To make real money, he offered his peers in Morgan Stanley management ideas for how best to work. However, he realized that a conservative investment bank would not be able to realize them, and left the company in 1988. After his departure, the group was doing worse. In the same year the division's budget was cut from $900 million to $300 million. A year later, Morgan Stanley disbanded it altogether. In 1988, Shaw founded the E. Shaw and Company. Its startup capital was $28 million, with the largest investors being the hedge funds Paloma Partners and Continental Casualty. The fund used methods of quantum and quantitative trading, The actions were not performed by people, but by ultra-fast computer systems. They can more accurately predict the best deals and choose the moment to take them. This saves time and effort as the algorithm does the job faster than a human. Like a roulette game from the point of view of a casino owner, the casino has a slightly more than 50% chance of winning at every turn of the wheel, but thanks to the laws of probability theory, the house's profit grows in the long run. According to Fortune, the fund entered into the first deal 6 months after the launch. Its details and amounts are unknown. At the beginning of the work, the staff had 6 employees who worked in the attic of a house near Greenwich Village. The founder noted that it was the first investment bank with an office above the leftist bookstore. The recruitment of the company was strict. All applicants were offered to solve absurd problems not directly related to the position. How to protect the head of the company from ticks if he is afraid of them. What brand of drinking water to choose if the boss doesn't like fluoridated water. How to design a protective helmet for a child. No favors were given to qualified candidates. For example, former U.S. Treasury Secretary and President of Harvard Lawrence Summers had to solve puzzles like everyone else. And in 1990, D.E. Shaw & Co. has hired future Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. The head of the investment company spoke with Bezos. He, according to Shaw, turned out to have the most powerful intellect, enormous creativity and a rare entrepreneurial flair. I told my partner that he was right, even if we do not have a position for him, but Jeff should be hired, and then think about how to take him. The future Amazon founder became vice president of the company and retired in 1994. By 1996, the investment firm had 300 employees, and its annual revenues were $600 million. In 1997, D.E. Shaw & Co.'s capital reached $800 million. It made 5% of the day's transactions on the New York Stock Exchange. Shaw himself said that while managing an investment company, over time he felt more stupid, and in his free time he solved problems in computer science. And in 2001, he completely retired from the management and appointed 6 employees in his place. Most of them did not work in the financial sector until D.E. Shaw & Company. After Shaw left, the company continued to grow. Launched a new hedge fund, Composite, in 2001. From the moment of its foundation until 2020, its profitability averaged 11.7% per annum. In 2004, created a new fund, Oculus, the yield of which is 12.5% per annum. The S&P 500 index, for example, from 2001 to 2020 had an average result of 7.9% per annum. In 2007, the founder sold 20% of his shares to Lehman Brothers Bank for $775 million. As of March 2021, he still owns 63% of the company. In September, D.E. Shaw & Co. Fund's assets totaled $60 billion. In 1994, the scientist was one of the advisors to the Bill Clinton administration on computer technology. In 2007, he became Obama's advisor on science. While working on Wall Street for his foundation, he began working with Rich Frisnor, a friend at Columbia University and a biochemist. Shaw decided that his knowledge of the construction of algorithms and computers could help solve the problem of protein folding. In 2001, after leaving D.E. Shaw & Co., he founded D.E. Shaw Research. It develops new algorithms for high-speed molecular modeling of proteins and uses them in the development of medicines. The team of scientists consists of computer scientists, engineers, computer chemists and biologists, applied mathematicians and architects. In 2008, D.E. Shaw Research launched the Antan supercomputer, which was used for simulation. The device was named after the Dutch inventor of the microscope, Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Compared to the Blue Gen L existing at that time, the device counted 1,000 times faster. In 2009, the scientist admitted that his company is not yet ready to develop specific drugs, and its interest lies in the field of fundamental research. A year later, Anton was donated to biochemists at the Pittsburgh Science Center. In 2014, Tissot Research created a second supercomputer, Anton 2. It was able to simulate protein folding, signaling and some changes in the structure of molecules. About 150 academic groups in the United States have taken advantage of the company's developments. In October 2021, Forbes estimates Shaw's fortune at $7.5 billion. He still owns control of the Shaw & Co., and he continues to do microbiological research. Investment in the metaverse. Complete overview. At the moment, the meta-universe from the investor's point of view is the new Bitcoin, because if you invest in companies that will benefit from the expansion of this market, you will receive good returns in the long term. So let's first tell you what the metaverse is. The metaverse is a constantly operating virtual space in which people can interact with each other and with digital objects through their avatars, using virtual reality technologies. Due to the onset of a pandemic in 2020, most enterprises in developed countries were forced to relocate most of their employees. This trend continues and grows from year to year. And he acquires a new, even more detailed topic, namely virtual reality. This trend and the hype around this topic went after the renaming of the company Facebook to Meta. This should reflect the revolutionary changes in the company's strategy. Starting next quarter, the company will separate from its core business and report on the results of the Reality Labs segment, which brings together projects related to the metaverse, Zuckerberg said in a conversation with analysts about the third quarter results. Spending on Reality Labs, 3D computer graphics modeling to provide a standardized interface for writing games, will grow from an estimated $2 billion a year to tens of billions. So, in 2021, a new project should reduce operating profit by $10 billion, Zuckerberg said. In the future, costs will rise. The investment in the metaverse won't pay off anytime soon, Zuckerberg warned analysts. But we believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet and will replace computers in the future, Zuckerberg said. Zuckerberg also said, "We are opening a new page for our company." That is, he will build and develop a completely new company from scratch, as he once created Facebook. The metaverse is nothing more than virtual reality, which is a kind of glasses and manipulators that visualize your hands. This is what the Oculus Quest 2 itself looks like, equipped with a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 processor. The helmet itself is charged from USB, and the joysticks are powered by an AA battery, finger batteries. The helmet itself has a resolution of 1832 by 1920 for each eye. Due to this, it completely immerses a person in virtual reality. This is cooler than a games on the computer, as it is full of immersion. You can carry out absolutely all movements as in reality, for example, crouch in half, look out, hide and reach out to aim at the enemy in the game. In general, those who try to play it at least once will no longer want to play on joysticks or a computer. And so that you understand, this device is intended not only for games, but also for meeting other people who are connected to the same device. You can communicate with them as in reality. You can also go to different events, for example, concerts. It can also be used for business meetings, while no one will distract you, due to which the effectiveness of such conversations is much higher than it is now when communicating via Zoom or Skype. Simply put, the metaverse is such a virtual multi-space where you can move from one space to another, sitting at home in slippers to go to work, but at the same time be as much involved in the process as possible, as well as have fun. Now it looks all cartoonish, but over time, with the development of technology, everything will look like in real life. By the way, when using VR glasses, you can also choose your own avatar. It can look whatever you like in the form of a cartoon, or more realistic by scanning with letters. Now, by the way, some Apple smartphones are already equipped with this function. That is, you can scan yourself and load your 3D model into a virtual space, where you will already look realistic. The audience that will use this product will be very huge and will expand like the metaverse market itself, and those companies that will directly benefit from this will grow more abruptly than Tesla in 2020 to 2021. By the way, VR is being implemented everywhere now, and this is a new trend. You can see this by going to YouTube, and below in the settings, you can see that you can watch videos in VR. Potentially, the metaverse will provide access to the growing e-commerce market. In the virtual space, you can make money not only from advertising, but also from the sale of goods. This will help Meta diversify its revenue streams. Currently 97% of the company's revenue comes from advertising. By the end of the decade, Zuckerberg said in a conversation with analysts, the audience of the metaverse will be 1 billion users. A quarter earlier it was estimated at hundreds of millions. It will sell physical and digital goods worth billions of dollars. According to the results of the third quarter, the aggregate monthly audience of Meta services, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, is 2.91 billion users. The metaverse on the horizon of 5 to 10 years should become the main component of the transition from Web 2.0, mobile internet, cloud technologies, large platforms, etc., to Web 3.0, decentralized internet, more local and niche platforms, etc. Goldman analysts agree. Sachs, The Bell has their report. This transition will change many consumer habits. For example, in the areas of gaming, entertainment, sports, and more. The transition to Web 3.0 can significantly change the business of companies, creating new leaders. Therefore, it is logical that many large players, Meta and the gaming industry in general, are making the most noticeable steps, are already investing in this direction, analysts write. Zuckerberg wants to expand this experience beyond gaming. In August of this year, Facebook launched an open beta of the Horizon Workrooms application, a virtual workspace. The emergence of new user scenarios in R/VR for a wide audience is one of the key challenges for the development of the metaverse, along with broadband internet and device convenience, according to Goldman Sachs. As for the potential of the entire metaverse market, it will grow, and by 2024 we will see a tenfold growth of this market. First of all, connecting to VR requires a network of connected users. And in this case, I bet more on Meta, Facebook, as it has almost 3 million users. And Facebook already has the Oculus ecosystem, so they already have a connected app store through which they can make purchases through PayPal. That is, in essence, Facebook has created its own operating system. Also, Facebook has a potential competitor. This is Microsoft. The company has great finances, great opportunities, and even an audience. With the purchase of Skype in 2011, the audience for 2020 reached 4 billion users, but at the same time only 300 million active users. As for the Facebook audience, it has only 3 billion users, and about 2 billion active users, which is much higher than Microsoft. Now Skype is a little outdated, and therefore Microsoft made Microsoft Teams based on the Skype audience, and in turn plans to make its own meta universe at the expense of this audience. Regarding the competition of the entire metaverse market among VR products, we see that Oculus is in the lead of all global brands. Relatively recently, With the entry of this company into the market, it broke into first place in this race and is now rapidly increasing its share in this market. In 2020, Oculus has a larger share of the VR market than all others combined. Considering that this data will increase this year, it can already be said that Meta, Facebook, is emerging as the market leader in the metaverse. At the moment, Oculus is the only device on the market that has full autonomy. With regard to payment, I already talked a little about that. Inside the virtual space you can pay with PayPal, but Facebook plans to develop its own digital coin, which can be used to easily make purchases inside the VR space, and it will be tied to the value of shares of Facebook or the current company Meta. Also, the development of cryptocurrency within VR will entail a new turnover of NFT tokens, which are now gaining popularity and will well get used to this virtual ecosystem. According to analysts' calculations, the economy within the metaverse will exceed the volume of the economy that we currently have offline. As for the metaverse in general, it is divided into several sectors that will be included in this direction. Manufacturer and creator of the VR platform and ecosystem itself, $MVRS, FB, $MSFT, $NVDA, $Apple. Content creators, $RBKX, $NFTLX, $AMZN, $ADSC, Tencent. Internet security, $CRWD, $FTNT, $SNOW. $CLICE, $CHKP. Equipment suppliers, $DSM, $COM, $NVDA, $AMD, $AVGO, $INTC. 1. Metaverse makers and headset makers. NVIDIA, NVDA, has had an Omniverse for over a year now, essentially a cloud where content producers can use this environment for their development. Microsoft, MSFT, announced that it will build its universe around Microsoft Teams, a platform for meetings, chats, calls and collaboration. The advantage of MSFT is that selling devices is not the main activity of the company, and they will not change their direction. For example, now, we can buy any device of any manufacturer, be it a phone, tablet or a laptop, install Microsoft on this device and work on it. The company intends to continue this trend. That is, they will provide their operating environment to any device. MSFT also has a cloud platform called Azure. This platform provides the ability to develop, run applications, and store data on servers. Meta, MVRS, Facebook, FB, currently the closest to the construction of the metaverse. But it is not a fact that it will win, because, unlike MSFT, MVRS, Facebook, does not have a server base and the company will have to build it from scratch. Meta recently announced that it will build its Facebook Connect cloud solution based on AMD products. As for Apple, AAPL, the company has a large ecosystem. Since 2015, Apple has been trying to develop a metaverse and create their own VR headset, but so far they do not have it. But when you consider that Apple was never a pioneer, chances are that their metaverse product development will one day take off. Also, the company has its own network, iMessage and FaceTime. These two applications could serve as a prototype for a new network in which the metaverse will be created. But these are only plans and guesses so far, in contrast to the above listed companies. 2. Content creators. As far as content creators are concerned, Roblox will benefit in the first place. In short, this company is a multiplayer online platform that allows users to play games created by other users and create their own. In general, it should be considered in more detail, as it is a very interesting and promising company. Netflix, NFTLX, in addition to continuing to make entertainment content, TV series and films, but also plans to create interactive films and games. Amazon, AMZN creates content and cloud solutions. In principle, they have all the resources to work in this direction. Also, there is a chance that the company will fit into the gaming industry too. Autodesk, ADSK, a company that develops 3D environments. Best known for its AutoCAD software, this application allows engineers, architects, designers and scientists to virtually design and create buildings, products, infrastructure projects, and more, in both 2D and 3D. Developers use their software to design and create virtual worlds for games and entertainment. The company is a perfect fit and is quickly becoming the top choice for developers interested in the metaverse and its construction. In relation to Tencent, the company produces online games and social networking services, fintech and cloud services, online advertising services, production, investment and distribution of films and television programs for third parties, as well as copyright licensing, sale of goods and other activities, develops software, develops and manages online games, provides services in the field of information technology, information systems integration, asset management, online literature and music entertainment. Tencent's many services include social media, music and web portals, e-commerce, payment systems, mobile and online games, and cloud databases. Tencent owns Qzone, the largest social network in China and the third largest in the world by the number of registered users, after Facebook and YouTube. CrowdStrike is the leader in AI-powered endpoint security. It is one of the main contractors of the CIA and the US military. The next company, Fortinet, FTNT, specializes in the development and promotion of software, solutions and services in the field of information security, firewalls, antivirus software, intrusion prevention systems and endpoint security and other products. Next on the rating I will put Snowflake, SNOW. Snowflake helps other companies manage the data they store in the cloud. Its clients can analyze large amounts of data in different storages. In Snowflake, you can expand storage capacity on the fly without interrupting processing requests. Qualys, QLYS, is a cloud-based security and compliance solution provider. The company's solutions enable organizations to identify security risks to their information technology, IT, infrastructure and help protect their IT systems and applications from cyber attacks. Checkpoint, CHKP, develops software and hardware systems, including firewalls and virtual private networks, for equipment suppliers. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSM, manufactures and markets integrated circuits. TSMC circuits are used in computers, communications, consumer electronics, automotive and industrial equipment. The company is the largest contract manufacturer and key supplier of chips for smartphones and desktop processors. Customers include Apple, AMD, Nvidia, Qualcomm, Broadcom and many more. Qualcomm Incorporated, QCOM, the company manufactures semiconductor and telecommunications equipment. Among the company's significant achievements is its leading role in the development of inventions that serve as the basis for 3G, 4G and 5G wireless technologies. The company's portfolio also includes many other key technologies used in mobile phones and other wireless devices that are classified as industry standards, such as Wi-Fi, GPS and Bluetooth. The company's largest customers include Samsung Electronics, Xiaomi Corporation, Apple Incorporated, Guangdong Automobile Telecommunications and Vivo Communications Technology Company Limited. Nvidia, NVIDIA, is the leader in GPUs. Nvidia is preparing to seize the opportunity to become a monopoly with its Ampere-based A100 data center GPU. The company has many innovative meanings, which can be talked about a lot. However, if interested, I can do a detailed review of this company. If there are many comments on the topic of Nvidia, just write "I want an Nvidia review." AMD has become a strong adversary to Nvidia in the GPU market based on Radeon technology. The company's products include x86 microprocessors as an accelerated processor, chipsets, discrete and integrated graphics processing units, GPUs, data centers and professional GPUs, and development services, server and embedded processors, and system-on-chip, SoC, products, development services, and technology for game consoles. Broadcom, AVGO, is a global technology leader that designs, develops and supplies a wide range of software solutions for semiconductors and infrastructure. Broadcom's category-leading portfolio of products serves critical markets including data center, networking, software, broadband, wireless, storage and industry. The company's solutions include data center networking and storage, enterprise and mainframe software focused on automation, monitoring and security, smartphone components, telecommunications and manufacturing automation. Intel, INTC, a developer and manufacturer of electronic devices and computer components, microprocessors and system logic sets for client computing systems and for data centers, chips for artificial intelligence systems and for the Internet of Things, non-volatile memory. Who will lose? Firstly, it is a commercial property. It is necessary to understand that most likely, with the development of virtual environments, all people will be in their own virtual premises and all companies will look not like an office, but like a virtual space where workers gather physically. These workers will be at home. This is also beneficial from a business point of view. For example, the maintenance of an office requires certain costs. In this regard, owners of commercial real estate may experience an outflow of customer interest due to a drop in demand. Also, airlines and aircraft manufacturers may lose, respectively. The main money airlines earn on business class, and business class is mainly used by large corporations for workers' flights. And with the development of the metaverse, most of the meetings will be held in virtual spaces, as well as the digital workflow is developing, which will also be introduced into the virtual space. Hotels may also have a decrease in occupancy, for example, because of these same guys who stop traveling for work. Also, cinemas and entertainment centers will suffer from the development of the metaverse, as humanity will increasingly immerse itself in virtual reality. In the virtual space, you can also meet friends, watch a movie, play and buy the necessary things. Summing up, we can say that investing in stocks that will benefit from the growth of the metaverse market is simply necessary, since these stocks will grow significantly literally by 2024, and it is simply not advisable to miss this growth from the point of view of an investor. In the future, I can review each of the sectors of the metaverse in order to understand who is the leader of each of the industries. Playing with data. How did the hit Netflix series become a profit tool? If you are like the rest of the world crazy about the Korean Netflix series Squid Game, you might be tempted to download an app based on the popular show. In the series, the players are fighting for huge cash gains, but in reality, people are losing their money. The App Store and Google Play have literally flooded hundreds of unofficial apps based on the series. In this article, we will analyze how to recognize malicious applications and avoid becoming a victim of scammers. How Squid Game became a virus. In the first 4 weeks after its premiere, the series was watched by more than 140 million viewers, making it the most watched in the history of Netflix. It seems he was everywhere. In shopping centers around the world they began to install a copy of the doll from the first game Red Light, Green Light, Analog the Sea is worried once, in cafes in Moscow and St. Petersburg, customers were offered to cut a pattern into cookies and receive a prize, and there is nothing to say about the number of memes on the internet. And, of course, the Squid Game has become a tasty morsel for scammers. Many applications have appeared in the official stores of mobile devices containing Squid Game in their name. The functionality of such programs is quite simple. Usually it offers to set wallpaper based on the series, add popular music to video, or play a small game. Even a school child can create this kind of application by watching several videos on YouTube. Such applications are installed with the Joker Trojan, which steals your personal data. They are usually quickly removed, but at the time of deletion, downloads can reach 5,000. In addition, fake sites were created to buy merchandise and other paraphernalia of the series, but after the payment was made, the money simply went to the scammers, and no goods were received by the customers. Even the Squid cryptocurrency was created, which in a few hours grew by 7,500%, after which it fell to zero, when its owners withdrew all funds from it. The attackers stole about $2.1 million. Of course not, but financial scars are deep. This software is well known to computer security professionals. The Joker Trojan virus belongs to the family of malware known as Bread, which aims to gain access to a mobile device and conduct transactions without the user's consent. Initially, applications infected with the Joker or other malware from this family carried out fraudulent SMS scams, but then they began to attack online payments as well. These two methods take advantage of the integration of telephone operators with banks to make it easier to pay for services using the phone. Both methods require verification of the device, but not the user, so they manage to automate payments without requiring any interaction with the device owner. Despite the awareness of information security specialists about this malicious software, it continues to penetrate the official market of Google and Apple applications, using changes in its code or methods of extracting information about the user. It is worth noting that scammers have long learned to adapt to the situation, to make money on trends by conducting a kind of marketing analysis in a hacker manner. How it works: at the beginning, there is some significant event, for example, the release of a popular film, TV series, or the government announcement of a lockdown. After that, the scammers begin to think over the user's actions, where this event will lead him. In the case of the TV series, it is possible to desire to purchase merchandise or play a game based on his motives, and if you take the example of the lockdown, to the state services website. After that, the scammers quickly make a product with which they will perform manipulations. It can be a fake website or a mobile application with malware. Next, you need to choose the right time and place to bring the product to the masses. A kind of prime time for hackers. It will be blocked in any case. However, the number of those who will have time to use it depends on these parameters. Even if he stays on the network for only 30 minutes, the damage can be caused by thousands of dollars. An isolated incident or a total threat? According to Apple, over 300,000 app downloads were blocked in the App Store over the past year. These apps contained undocumented features, sent out spam, requested unnecessary rights on the device, and violated user privacy. However, as elsewhere, it is impossible to ensure 100% prevention of rogue app downloads, and here's why. The most common cases are the so-called fleeceware applications. These programs are visually similar to popular programs, for example, VPN clients, photo processing tools, etc. At the same time, they do not formally contain any fraudulent content, but they persuade the user to connect unnecessary or excessively expensive subscriptions. The second case is that attackers send harmless versions of their software for the first check, and malicious functions are carefully added later. In some next update, updates are certainly checked by marketplaces, but not as thoroughly. And, of course, do not forget about new, unknown threats, for which there are simply no corresponding checks in the knowledge base of Apple and Google at the moment. Data has value. It's probably no secret to anyone that data has long been used as a currency. Who owns the information? He owns the world, as they say. Criminals not only hunt for users' funds, they are often interested in information. Phone number, which pages they visit, links to social networks, what they are fond of, passwords, etc. After collecting such a database, the cybercriminals sell it on the black market, where it is bought by interested scammers. If we talk about threats to users, it all depends on how much data about subjects ended up in the detected database. The more such data, the more risks the subject can bear, starting from banal calls and mailings with advertisements, ending with illegal actions to transfer funds to the accounts of fraudsters. In all three cases, stores usually identify such applications only after the fact, following numerous complaints from users. Here are some practical tips on how to avoid downloading malware. 1. Check the name of the app and the developer. In stores, there are fake applications similar to the ones you need by name. Make sure the app name and developer name are correct. 2. Carefully study the rating and reviews of the application. A high rating, a presence in the charts and a large number of reviews are not enough. Attackers can cheat ratings and raise applications in the rating. As a recommendation, you can look at negative reviews. If the main complaints are centered around technical problems with the application and only, then this is not so critical from the point of view. Security. If users, for example, report a lot about problems with withdrawing funds, then the already high rating of the application should fade into the background for you. Also note if the developer responds to user reviews and what does. As a rule, scammers are not particularly inclined to communicate in the comments. 3. Check the requested permissions and their appropriateness. If, say, a flashlight app contains in-app purchases or requests access to the file system, that's odd enough. Also, when you subscribe, you should be alerted by a short trial period, for example, 3 days. Binance Coin soars to a new all-time high of $610. Binance Coin, BNB, surpassed the $610 mark on Monday, ahead of the 15th quarterly token burn. After impressive results in 2021, Binance Coin, BNB, soared to a new all-time high of over $610 on Monday. According to CoinGecko, BNB is up 17% in the last 24 hours and a whopping 69% in the last 7 days. The previous record for Binance Coin was $574. Earlier today, BNB also set a new record for Bitcoin, BTC, reaching 0.01051113 BTC on Binance.com, with a market capitalization of around $90 billion. BNB is currently the third largest blockchain network after Bitcoin, BTC, and Ethereum, ETH. Even more remarkable is the progress the token has made since its launch in 2017, given that the price was around $40 at the start of the year, which means that from the beginning of the year to the present day, BNB has brought its holders and investors a whopping 1,200% return. Other uses for BNB. The latest spike in Binance Coin prices is due to the growing number of use cases. Created as a tool to reduce transaction fees on Binance.com, the token is now an integral part of Binance Chain and Binance Smart Chain, BSC. These two blockchains are becoming increasingly popular among developers of decentralized applications, dApps, especially in the field of decentralized finance, DeFi. One example of a dApp built on top of BSC is PancakeSwap, the second largest decentralized exchange, DEX, in terms of trading volume. Over the past day, more than $2.5 billion have been sold on the PancakeSwap exchange. The good thing about PancakeSwap is that it uses BNB for its liquidity pools. Not only does it significantly outperform its Ethereum-based rival Uniswap in trading volume, but it also surpasses Coinbase Pro. Meanwhile, BNB is fast approaching its 15th quarterly token burn event. As Binance CEO Changpeng Zhou explained, each token burn involves the removal of a certain amount of BNB from circulation, thereby increasing the value of the remaining coins. The last time in January 2021, Binance burned a total of 3,619,888 BNB, breaking records for both the number of BNB burned in its dollar equivalent, $165,791,000. The killer Ethereum grew 100 times in a year and got into the Bloomberg terminal. Smart contracts are one of the leading growth drivers in the use of cryptocurrencies. Ethereum remains dominant due to strong decentralization, but is inferior to more recent projects in terms of fees and transaction processing speed. So, the throughput of Ethereum does not exceed 15 transactions per second. During the same time Solana can process 50,000 transactions. Smart contracts are actively used in the decentralized finance, DeFi, sector. At the beginning of the year, Ethereum accounted for 97.7% of blocked funds. Now it has decreased to 66.7%. Solana ranks third with $13 billion in blocked funds and a 5.2% stake. These heights were achieved in a short period of time, since the network, Mainnet, was launched only in March last year. Still later, Solana got involved in the battle for NFTs, non-fungible tokens, used in the field of digital art. The debut took place 3 months ago, when a collection of 10,000 monkeys was sold in 8 minutes. The sale confirmed the high speed of the network with extremely low fees, less than 1 cent. Now 193 NFT projects are supported by Solana, and the turnover of NFT images using this blockchain has exceeded $900 million. Solana's success caused a 100-fold increase in prices and brought the network to the 5th place in the overall capitalization rating with a volume of $64 billion. Due to high institutional demand, the cryptocurrency became the third after Bitcoin and Ethereum, which got into the Bloomberg terminal for tracking quotes. Solana is gradually catching up with Ethereum in terms of the number of nodes, 982 versus 3,346, respectively. The rise of decentralization, coupled with low fees and high transaction processing speeds, is increasingly driving startups to choose Solana as their underlying blockchain. Do you think Solana has a chance to oust Ethereum in the overall ranking? Let us know in the comments. 5 fastest growing stocks. A summary of the 5 fastest growing stocks in the global market, excluding companies that are showing significant growth due to the fact that they are still small. 1. Shopify. Shopify, NYSE, Shop, helps businesses of all kinds and sizes build their own e-commerce platform. The founders of the company admitted that large online marketplaces like Amazon were difficult to use as a point of sale, so Shopify was built from the ground up with empowerment in mind. According to the latest data, more than 1.7 million businesses use the services of this company, and this number continues to grow. The numbers are evidence of this growth. In the first 9 months of this year, net revenues of more than $3.2 billion were up 66% year-on-year. 2. Fiverr International. Fiverr International, NYSE, FVRR, The Fiverr platform connects customers with freelancers. Amid rising unemployment and cost optimization by companies, Fiverr's business has the potential to grow further. This is not a completely new idea. Upwork, Guru, Amazon Mechanical Turk, and Freelancer.com do this business. However, Fiverr is clearly doing something special, reporting nearly 55% revenue growth this year. Next year's projected earnings per share of 48 cents will also set a new record for the company, also helped by projected record earnings. 3. Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre, Nasdaq, MELI, is the e-commerce leader for much of the mature Latin American market, often referred to as the Amazon Latin America. Mercado Libre also operates a payment platform that is very similar to PayPal and an online auction service similar to eBay. The extended business of the company has been operating with great success. Revenue for the first 3 reporting quarters grew by almost 90%, and operating income more than doubled. And this is just the beginning. Lazard Asset Management estimates that Latin America's online retail market will more than triple between 2020 and 2026, with projected sales of $217 billion. 4. Crocs. Crocs, Nasdaq, Crocs, which launched its first fashion foam clogs 2 decades ago, has seen its footwear rise and fall, but it's back in the spotlight. Only this time, current CEO Andrew Rees realizes that for a brand to remain strong it must move like a more traditional company. This includes, among other things, variations on the core theme, comfortable foam shoes, social media presence backed by celebrities and influencers, and product customization. The company also brilliantly transformed the fact that its shoes were ugly into the idea that their unique looks were a function of practicality. This is one of the reasons why this robustly profitable company saw sales up 77% in the first 9 months of the year. Despite global supply chain challenges, analysts expect annual revenues of $2.3 billion. But that's still nothing. Andrew Rees wants to achieve $5 billion in annual sales by 2026, more than double the management's forecast of $2.3 billion this year. 5. Pinduoduo. You can add Pinduoduo, Nasdaq, PDD, to your fast-growing stocks list. Let's take a closer look. It is a Chinese company that is considered part of the country's technology sector, but this classification is a little misleading. Pinduoduo operates an e-commerce platform that offers Chinese shoppers a wide range of products, including home appliances, auto parts, and apparel, albeit with food roots. It was launched to allow farmers to sell their fruits and vegetables, but its ongoing evolution has resulted in a 141% revenue growth in the first half of 2021. Analysts expect sales growth to fall to just over 40% next year. But with some financial momentum working in its favor, EPS is expected to rise from 10 cents this year to 78 cents in 2022. The information provided does not constitute an individual investment recommendation. Will cryptocurrency replace fiat money? When Bitcoin first appeared in 2009, the cryptocurrency was touted as the future of the currency. Many thought it was just a matter of time, and in the near future, cryptocurrency could even replace our everyday money. More than 10 years later, everything remained the same. We all still use paper money, while cryptocurrency remains an occupation only for the most ardent adherents and futurists. So what happened? What is holding back cryptocurrency? Why hasn't it replaced traditional currency to the point of being the preferred method of payment for all? Should this happen at all? Let's take a look at these burning issues. Why should cryptocurrency replace fiat currency? While cryptocurrency has not yet overtaken fiat as the world's dominant form of exchange, there are several qualities that make cryptocurrency attractive not only as an investment, but also as the currency of the future. Proof of inflation. There are over 18 million bitcoins in circulation at the moment, and when there are 21 million there will never be any more bitcoins being produced. This is good if you are hoping that Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency will take over fiat, as it is immune to hyperinflation and will not be produced in huge quantities that would devalue it. As a result, Bitcoin, as well as other cryptocurrencies that are becoming increasingly popular on the basis of principles, cannot experience the inflation rates that have historically been observed in countries such as Germany, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe. However, inflation is rarer and is not really a big enough problem to suddenly switch from fiat to crypto. It should be noted that economists have yet to decide what rate of inflation or deflation is desirable for a currency and whether it is beneficial to people. We may have to take a we'll-see approach to really find out how deflation will affect Bitcoin. However, deflation is a potential vulnerability. Even if Bitcoin is inflation-proof, no return. Every cryptocurrency transaction is permanent and irreversible. Every cryptocurrency transaction is recorded on the blockchain, basically a computing ledger, so no central authority can ever take over your Bitcoin or delete it and claim that you never had it. It also makes transactions more secure and verifiable, as no one can use the same Bitcoins for multiple transactions. Anonymity. While the two previous reasons why crypto should take over fiat are theoretical, as hyperinflation and asset grabbing by a bank or central authority are rare, anonymity is the only practical reason proponents say crypto should be the money of the future. Of course, these are people who don't want a central authority like a bank, credit card company, or government to know what they are spending their money on. While this can be seen as an advantage in some ways, especially if you are more individualistic, it can also contribute to criminal activity. A 2019 study found that 46% of Bitcoin transactions were associated with illegal activity, which amounted to $76 billion a year. Cryptocurrencies are taxed. Like traditional currency, cryptocurrency is taxed, which gives it credibility and legitimacy as an asset among governments and puts it on a path to replace traditional currency. While cryptocurrency is not recognized as legal tender in Canada, it is taxed as business income or capital gains. The proceeds from cryptocurrency trading must be reported to the CRA, and if you do not, you will be audited. Pinduoduo operates an e-commerce platform that offers Chinese shoppers a wide range of products, including home appliances, auto parts, and apparel, albeit with food roots. It was launched to allow farmers to sell their fruits and vegetables, but its ongoing evolution has resulted in a 141% revenue growth in the first half of 2021. Analysts expect sales growth to fall to just over 40% next year. But with some financial momentum working in its favor, EPS is expected to rise from 10 cents this year to 78 cents in 2022. The information provided does not constitute an individual investment recommendation. Will cryptocurrency replace fiat money? When Bitcoin first appeared in 2009, the cryptocurrency was touted as the future of the currency. Many thought it was just a matter of time, and in the near future, cryptocurrency could even replace our everyday money. More than 10 years later, everything remained the same. We all still use paper money, while cryptocurrency remains an occupation only for the most ardent adherents and futurists. So what happened? What is holding back cryptocurrency? Why hasn't it replaced traditional currency to the point of being the preferred method of payment for all? Should this happen at all? Let's take a look at these burning issues. Why should cryptocurrency replace fiat currency? While cryptocurrency has not yet overtaken fiat as the world's dominant form of exchange, there are several qualities that make cryptocurrency attractive not only as an investment, but also as the currency of the future. proof of inflation. There are over 18 million bitcoins in circulation at the moment, and when there are 21 million there will never be any more bitcoins being produced. This is good if you are hoping that Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency will take over fiat, as it is immune to hyperinflation and will not be produced in huge quantities that would devalue it. As a result, Bitcoin, as well as other cryptocurrencies that are becoming increasingly popular on the basis of principles, cannot experience the inflation rates that have historically been observed in countries such as Germany, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe. However, inflation is rarer and is not really a big enough problem to suddenly switch from fiat to crypto. It should be noted that economists have yet to decide what rate of inflation or deflation is desirable for a currency and whether it is beneficial to people. We may have to take a we'll-see approach to really find out how deflation will affect Bitcoin. However, deflation is a potential vulnerability. Even if Bitcoin is inflation-proof, no return. Every cryptocurrency transaction is permanent and irreversible. Every cryptocurrency transaction is recorded on the blockchain, basically a computing ledger, so no central authority can ever take over your Bitcoin or delete it and claim that you never had it. It also makes transactions more secure and verifiable, as no one can use the same Bitcoins for multiple transactions. Anonymity. While the two previous reasons why crypto should take over fiat are theoretical, as hyperinflation and asset grabbing by a bank or central authority are rare, anonymity is the only practical reason proponents say crypto should be the money of the future. Of course, these are people who don't want a central authority like a bank, credit card company, or government to know what they are spending their money on. While this can be seen as an advantage in some ways, especially if you are more individualistic, it can also contribute to criminal activity. A 2019 study found that 46% of Bitcoin transactions were associated with illegal activity, which amounted to $76 billion a year. Cryptocurrencies are taxed. Like traditional currency, cryptocurrency is taxed, which gives it credibility and legitimacy as an asset among governments and puts it on a path to replace traditional currency. While cryptocurrency is not recognized as legal tender in Canada, it is taxed as business income or capital gains. The proceeds from cryptocurrency trading must be reported to the CRA, and if you do not, you will be audited. Why cryptocurrency shouldn't replace fiat currency? Probably the main reason cryptocurrency hasn't replaced fiat is because our modern money is cryptocurrency's penchant for volatility. The countries of the world would prefer to have a stable currency, a sign of a healthy economy, rather than a currency that is constantly rising and falling. Research shows that Bitcoin fell 2.22% in USD value in December 2020. Based on this, one can understand all the fears of the government and banks. It is because of its volatility that cryptocurrency misses out on the opportunity to get a true asset class, since it is impossible to generate cash flow with the help of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency also does not contribute to the growth of the country's economy and is not included in GDP. In Canada, all major banks, except the National Bank, do not provide their debit or credit cards for buying bitcoins, and the government does not recognize them as legal tender. This is largely due to its impermanence. If this problem is not resolved in time, then in the future cryptocurrency will not be able to claim to replace fiat payment methods. Large transaction fees. Cryptocurrency is great for anonymous transactions, but it's not cheap to pay for this privilege. The average cryptocurrency transaction fees are very high. At the beginning of July 2021, the average was $7,046, and on May 23, 2021, it was $23.13. In addition to the high cost of cryptocurrency in general, High transaction fees are another obstacle to entering the cryptocurrency market as everyday money. If you are not a programmer or have no computer science knowledge, performing a cryptocurrency transfer to fiat currency or to your digital wallet is very difficult without the participation of a third party, a cryptocurrency exchange. However, these exchanges are highly vulnerable to hacking. In 2019, a new record was set. 12 cryptocurrency exchanges were hacked. The frequency of these hacks and the need for users to be held accountable for the security of their funds means that cryptocurrency has no chance of replacing fiat currency until it becomes harder to steal, easier to recover and protect from fraudsters. Stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency that attempts to control the volatility of a cryptocurrency by pegging its own value to another asset or collection of assets. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with fluctuating exchange rates, stablecoins have a fixed exchange rate because this rate is tied to a guarantee from a central authority. The best example of a stablecoin is Tether. It was originally stated that it would be 1 to the US dollar. So far, the best indicator of stability among most types of cryptocurrencies central bank digital currencies, CBDC. CBDC is simply a form of digital currency issued by a central bank. Most fiat currencies can already be used digitally, but CBDCs serve different purposes. Make central bank lending publicly available. Simplify payment for goods across the country. Tracking transactions for an authoritarian government to enforce the law. Right now, in 2021, China is the first developed economy to test CBDC beyond the theoretical white paper. The digital RMB could eventually be decoupled from the banking system for tourists to use and spent directly at popular retail outlets such as McDonald's, or transferred to a bank account and monitored via smartphone banking app. Will cryptocurrency really take over fiat currency? The short answer is no, at least not anytime soon. Its volatility and complexity must be overcome to make it easier to adapt for practical transactions beyond speculative investing. There is a lot of enthusiasm from investors and many businesses accepting cryptocurrencies, though many banks do not allow using their financial resources to buy cryptocurrencies due to its volatility, and banks do not plan to abandon fiat currency in the near future. Norway may support the initiative of Swedish regulators to ban mining at the EU level. Officials refer to unjustified electricity costs. While mining cryptocurrencies and the technologies that underlie it can offer definite benefits in the long term, it is difficult to justify the widespread use of renewable energy today. We want them to support the transition to a climate-neutral society, said Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Bjorn Arild Gram. Bill Gates' company received over $1.5 billion for the construction of an experimental fast neutron nuclear power plant in the United States. It became known that the lion's share of investments under the U.S. Department of Energy's Advanced Reactor Demonstration Program, ADRP, will receive Bill Gates' TerraPower. According to the law signed by U.S. President Joseph Biden, $2.5 billion has been allocated for the ADRP program. TerraPower will receive over $1.5 billion for development. TerraPower promises to build and commission an experimental fast neutron reactor by 2027 with this money. As planned, by the end of this year, TerraPower has chosen a site for the construction of a demonstration reactor and a pilot nuclear power plant. By the way, small and modular, which has become fashionable in our time. The Natrium reactor will be built at the Naughton Coal Power Plant near Kemmerer, Wyoming. The state's power generation is 90% dependent on fossil fuels, and the issue of decommissioning coal and gas power plants in Wyoming is not only acute, but extremely acute. The Natrium project is being developed by TerraPower together with Japan's GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy Americas. In addition to them, the local utility company PacifiCorp, partly owned by the notorious Warren Buffett, participates in the project. The reactor power will be 345 molten sodium will be used as a heat carrier. Also, molten salts will make it possible to create a buffer heat accumulator with a peak power of up to 500 mW. It will be used to smooth out peak loads. TerraPower expects to submit an application for the start of construction of a demonstration reactor in mid-2023, and hopes to receive a certificate for operating the nuclear power plant in 2026. If all goes according to plan, the Wyoming demonstration fast breeder plant will go online in 2027. To the advantages of the chosen site, it can be added that the infrastructure in the form of systems for entering the network and water intake already exists and will remain from Naughton's coal-fired power plants when they begin to be decommissioned in 2025. You can also add that the Natrium project has risen in price by 50%. Previously, it was estimated at $1 billion, and it looks like the $1.5 billion or more allocated from the budget may not be the last for its implementation. Fall of CSCO Cisco Systems on good data, share -8%. What's the matter here? Yesterday, after the close of the session, another tech giant, Cisco Systems Incorporated, reported for the third quarter. Another report from another hardware manufacturer and, as a reaction, another drop in rates. And the point is not that the report was not very good, on the contrary, EPS exceeded expected by 1 cent. Sales confirmed, I must say high analysts' expectations. New applications grew by 33% and increased speed. The fact is that Cisco, like many tech corporations, expects sales to grow in the first 2 quarters by 5 to 6%, which, according to analysts, does not catch up with investors' expectations. They added fuel to the fire and the statement of analysts at GMP Securities, who changed their expectations from buy to hold and indicated the same expected sales as the reason. Again, the ability of managers and CEOs plays a huge role during the conference call. Explain to investors the situation for now, the situation for the future and their reasons. Explain, and not just dump information. They say here it is, draw conclusions and understand it yourself. Here are the latter and figure it out. While I was writing the post, the drop reached 9.5%, and the reason is the same as the others. There are no components for assembling hardware, which may not change until February 2022. Here are my pros and cons of investing in Cisco Systems. I'll start with the pros. Pays dividends and regularly increases them for 11 years. They are currently 2.61% or $1.48 per share. Pays dividends rather conservatively, payout 57.80%. Constantly growing EPS and, as a result, constantly growing fair price. Return on investment ROI 19.20%. Return on equity ROE 26.70%. High business margin, gross margin 64.00%. Against, slightly overbought P/E 22.70 and, as a consequence, BEG 3.48. The share price is higher than the fair price, $48.30. I have CSCO shares, but not in all portfolios, and I see it as a candidate for a purchase, but not higher than its fair price. My strategy for it is, waiting for a further price decline, selling put in order to receive cash flow in the form of a premium from selling options while waiting. Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin partner for the Sierra Space, has raised $1.4 billion. The company wants to build its own spacecraft and invest in a space station project. The round was attended by General Atlantic, Coatue, and more strategic ventures, as well as private equity funds BlackRock and Industrial Partners, writes CNBC. The company received an estimate of $4.5 billion. This is the first external investment since April 2021, when Sierra Space was formed as a subsidiary of the Sierra Nevada Corporation, the newspaper notes. The funds received will be used to create a Dream Chaser spacecraft for delivering cargo and crew to low Earth orbit, as well as to a joint project with Blue Origin for the construction of the Orbital Reef Space Station. In October, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin announced plans to create its own Orbital Reef Space Station in the 2020s. The company has been building for over a year. In addition to Sierra Space, its main partners are Boeing, Redwire Space, and Genesis Engineering. Celebrity NFTs are falling in value. The boom and hype of NFT was largely due to the stars, who could easily make millions by minting their own digital art collections. However, fans have barely been able to sell their stellar NFTs for half their original cost. Let's try to understand what value NFT technology offers us, how the art market is now involved in this industry, and how Decimal Chain has pushed the NFT value issue forward. NFT is a way to digitize any value in order to capture its creation, movement and ownership on the blockchain. NFT cannot or has not yet been able to resolve the issue of copies at 100%. But let's be honest, there are countless copies of the painting by Kazimir Malevich, but documents and provenance from an institution, for example, a museum or a gallery, that you are the owner of the original are of value. And Malevich himself is not just a popular blogger or pop star, he is the author of many works of art, recognized by the same institutions. The art investment market is large, well-established and operates according to its own immutable laws. Longtime NFT investors have largely shunned the famous market because they use traditional analysis tools, although some celebrity exhibits meet collectors' needs. Some of the exhibits are tasteful, like the fall of Paris Hilton from the Nifty Gateway, and there are some with poor design, poor launch partners and poor execution, notes Whale Shark, one of the world's largest NFT collectors, who bought NFT from Paris Hilton, but stay away from other famous NFTs. Make no mistake that any digital content will suddenly gain value just because it is NFT. Of course, in the metaverse, into which we are smoothly moving with all of humanity, it is not the object itself that becomes important, but the confirmed possession of it. But so far you will not be full of just one record in the blockchain. The buyer wants to either own beautiful content or be able to profit from this purchase. Decimal Chain provides this opportunity at the expense of a reserve when creating an NFT. This means that even if the embedded content has not found a response in the secondary market or has not yet found it and has become historically important, you can delegate your NFT to any validator on the network. With the reserve that was invested in this exhibit, you will generate the basic blockchain token, which already has value in the market, as well as wide functionality that is constantly expanding. By the time the file or its author is recognized by the market institutions, the NFT itself, created on Decimal Chain, will already bring you many benefits. What other blockchain can offer this? Nvidia Company Overview. Full analysis. Nvidia announced financial results for the third quarter of fiscal year 2022 on November 17. Countries, companies and organizations may start and end their fiscal year differently, depending on their accounting and external auditing practices. The results exceeded analysts' forecasts. Record revenue amounted to $7.10 BLN, which is 50% more than a year earlier. Record revenue for the data center was $2.94 billion, up 55% from a year earlier. record gaming revenue of $3.22 billion, up 42% from a year earlier. Gambling revenue in the third quarter was a record $3.22 billion, up 42% from a year earlier and 5% more than in the previous quarter. Data processing center revenue in the third quarter was a record $2.94 PLN, up 55% from a year earlier and 24% more than in the previous quarter. Professional visualization revenue in the third quarter was a record $577 million, which is 144% more than a year earlier and 11% more than in the previous quarter. Car revenue in the third quarter was $135 million, which is 8% more than a year earlier and 11% less than in the previous quarter. Nvidia paid out $100 million in quarterly dividends in the third quarter. The company will pay its next quarterly cash dividend of 4 cents per share on December 23, 2021 to all registered shareholders on December 2, 2021. The third quarter was an outstanding one with record revenues, said Jensen Huang, founder and CEO of Nvidia. The demand for Nvidia AI is growing, driven by the advancement of hyperscale and cloud computing, as well as increased adoption by more than 25,000 companies. Nvidia RTX invented ray-traced computer graphics with artificial intelligence and is the perfect update for the large, growing market for gamers and creators, as well as designers and home workstation professionals. Nvidia's forecast for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2021 is as follows. Revenue is expected to be $7.40 PLN, ±2%. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 65.3% and 67.0%, respectively, +50 bp/s. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $2.02 billion and $1.43 billion, respectively. Both GAAP and other non-GAAP income and expenses are expected to cost approximately $60 million excluding gains and losses on unaffiliated investments. GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates are expected to be 11% ±1%, excluding any specific items such as excess tax breaks or deficiencies associated with inventory-based compensation. Nvidia deserves the title of Best Investment of the Year, as the company's stock prices surged nearly 133% in 2021 amid stunning growth in its earnings and profits. Over the past year, Nvidia stock posted a total return of 118.1%, well above the S&P 500's total return of 29.9%. However, the stock has seen rapid gains lately, as shown in the chart above. This acceleration may be due to the expectation that Nvidia will benefit from the metaverse, as the company already has a solution, the Omniverse, that can simulate reality and help meta platforms develop their platform. On its official website, the company stated, "Our GTC series of events showcases the expanding universe of NVIDIA accelerated computing." GTC is NVIDIA's annual San Jose, California conference that showcases the company's latest GPU and software innovations. Because the exhibition is primarily intended for the scientific community using GPUs for research, Omniverse was the main theme at GTC. "We have shown that jumping into virtual worlds is possible. Omniverse will use everything from collaborative design, customer service and video conferencing to digital twins of factories, refineries and even entire cities." Omniverse brings together NVIDIA expertise in artificial intelligence, simulation, graphics, and compute infrastructure. This is the tip of the iceberg of what is about to happen. As you can see, the company has ambitious plans, but also, it has every opportunity to implement them. Obviously, the development of the metaverse will open up great opportunities for the company. Nvidia's huge share of the graphics card market allows it to confidently take advantage of the metaverse. This is because graphics cards will become the main building blocks of the metaverse, as they will play a key role in rendering augmented reality models in real time. According to a third-party estimate, the growing use of graphics cards in augmented reality and virtual reality will be one of many catalysts for the GPU market, which could reach $200 billion in revenue by 2027, up from just $20 billion in 2019. Nvidia can take advantage of this huge opportunity with its versatile solution that uses multiple GPUs to render resource-intensive scenes in real time. Nvidia also points out that Omniverse natively supports multiple GPUs on a single system and will soon support interactive rendering across multiple systems. In addition, Omniverse provides developers with the ability to create applications and allows users to interact in real time using ray tracing technology currently used in Nvidia graphics cards. Simply put, developers are expected to turn to Nvidia's Omniverse to build metaverse apps. Unsurprisingly, Wells Fargo analysts believe Nvidia's Omniverse could lead to explosive growth as businesses look to the platform to improve performance using real-time simulation. The investment bank recently raised its target price for Nvidia shares to $320 from $245. Indicating that it could become a metaverse activator and open up a $10 billion revenue opportunity over the next 5 years. This looks like a big deal for Nvidia, given that the company has generated nearly $22 billion in revenue over the past 4 quarters. Another of Nvidia's recent advances is that the company is doubling down on its use of language models of artificial intelligence and inference as a platform for the metaverse in the data center, the cloud, and at the edge. Nvidia paved the way for companies around the world to develop and deploy large language models, LLMs. This design allows them to develop domain-specific chatbots, personal assistants, and other artificial intelligence systems. The firm announced the NVIDIA NeMo Megatron platform for training language models with trillions of parameters. In addition, the NVIDIA Triton Output Server offers multi-site distributed output functionality for new domains and languages. When used in conjunction with NVIDIA DGX systems, these technologies provide an enterprise-grade solution to simplify building and deploying massive language models. Comparison of NVIDIA profitability over 5 years. The following graph compares the cumulative total shareholder return for NVIDIA common stock, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq 100 over the 5 years ended January 31, 2021. The chart assumes that on January 31, 2016, $100 was invested in NVIDIA common stock and in each of the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 indices. NVIDIA shares are an integral part of each of the indexes presented. The total yield assumes the reinvestment of dividends for each of the indicated indices. Overall performance is based on historical results and is not intended to indicate future results. Competitors: NVIDIA, Intel and AMD were considered to be among the main competitors to NVIDIA. Intel has a market value of net worth of approximately $200.9 billion as of November 20, 2021. In 2020, Intel ranked first in the semiconductor market with a 15.6% market share, closely followed by Samsung. Its revenue for the same period was $77.82 billion, up 8.2% from 2019. The Intel product line includes processors for PCs and servers, a range of networking equipment including routers, switches, and silicon photonics devices for data center interconnects. In addition, Intel offers platforms designed for the Internet of Things, IoT, autonomous vehicles, unmanned aerial vehicles, industrial automation systems and other applications. AMD. The company's shares are publicly traded on Nasdaq and have a market capitalization of $187.67 billion as of November 20, 2021. AMD revenues for the third quarter of 2021 amounted to $4.313 billion, which represents an increase of 54% over the same period last year, with a net profit of $923 million, up 137% over the same period last year. AMD's product line includes semiconductor chips for PCs, servers, game consoles and other embedded systems. The company also offers graphics processing units, GPUs, for PC gaming, cryptocurrency mining, visualization markets, and enterprise systems solutions. In addition, it also provides server chips for cloud computing applications and embedded processors that power devices such as digital assistants, drones, mobile phones, smart cars, etc. AMD invests in semiconductor research and development through internal resources and partnerships with universities, nonprofit organizations and global R&D providers. The company's marketing strategy targets suppliers of consumer electronic devices, including smartphones and EVs, PC makers, and cloud providers. It also targets gamers and content developers who use its GPUs for graphics and compute workloads. But the recent bid to buy ARM Holdings for $40 billion positions Nvidia as a leading player in the semiconductor industry in the age of artificial intelligence. The acquisition will expand its lead over existing competitors and open up new opportunities for exploration domestically and internationally. This development of events is likely to strengthen the company's competitive advantages. Nvidia's strengths. Outstanding performance in new markets. Nvidia has made great strides in diversifying its portfolio in new markets. The company is moving forward with cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, ML, and robotics. The latest NVIDIA GPUs feature deep learning tensor cores to compete against other AI competitors such as Intel and AMD. Technological innovation. NVIDIA GPUs have been designed to support parallel computing similar to traditional processors, but with the added benefit of optimizations for software and GPU-specific algorithms. The company is applying the same technology to its latest chipsets, moving from the Fermi architecture to the Volta, keeping it ahead of the competition. In addition, NVIDIA GPUs have been designed with compatibility in mind, allowing them to work seamlessly with processors and software to provide a complete platform solution. Strong financial performance. NVIDIA's financial performance has been impressive, with revenue growing year after year. The company posted revenues of $16.68 billion in 2021. Up from $10.92 billion in the previous year. The most profitable sector of the gaming industry of the company accounts for $3.22 billion in revenue for the third quarter of 2021-2022 fee. This indicates that Nvidia is well positioned to grow even in slower growth markets such as PC sales. Highly skilled workforce. The Nvidia workforce is comprised of highly skilled and experienced professionals with extensive knowledge of the latest technologies such as artificial intelligence and cloud computing. This enables Nvidia to develop products that meet customer needs by combining GPU power with multiple programming languages, concurrency capabilities, reduced development effort, and interoperability. Weaknesses of Nvidia. Limited success outside its core business. Despite the high quality of its products, Nvidia's efforts to expand into new markets have so far met with limited success. The company faces intense competition in the semiconductor market from AMD and Intel. In addition, Nvidia is facing increasing pressure from consumer requests to improve the user experience at a lower cost. To stay competitive in the future, Nvidia will need to find ways to maximize return on investment and produce cost-effective products for a variety of market segments. Limited forecasting of demand for products. Nvidia has not developed effective systems for forecasting demand, which leads to inventory problems for some of its products. This is because the company primarily partners with PC original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, to forecast demand, meaning that it relies on its customers to determine future product needs. Debt obligations of Nvidia. As for the company's debt, we see in its reporting that it is insignificant. Let's turn to the screen or Focus, which clearly shows that the company's debt is more than covered by its cash. That is, the company can pay off all its obligations one time. But she does not need to do this, since this loan money is spent on the development and scaling of the company's business. That is why there is no need to worry about the company's debt load. According to Colette Kress, CFO, Nvidia paid suppliers $1.64 billion in future shipments last quarter alone, and will pay another $1.79 billion in the current quarter, $4.79 to $6.9 billion. Although a year ago they were limited to $2.57 billion. This is the payment for guaranteeing the supply of the right number of GPUs and memory chips in conditions of shortage. Research and Development Company. Research and development spending increased 39% in FY 2021 compared to FY 2020, driven mainly by the acquisition of Mellanox. In addition, the increase reflects employee compensation and related costs, including inventory-based compensation and infrastructure costs. On a fundamental level, Nvidia's revenues and sales are up again after a sharp decline. It is expanding into new growth areas such as data centers, automated vehicles, and cloud gaming. The introduction of metaverses and cryptocurrencies will further drive demand for Nvidia chips. Meanwhile, the new gaming chips underline Nvidia's continued dominance in major markets. Nvidia is a leader in its industry group, but as global chip shortages persist, it may take months for Nvidia's GPU supply to catch up with demand. Nvidia stocks have significantly surpassed the $230.53 buy mark, and that's about 70% above the 200-day moving average, an early sign that the stock could pull back. Bottom line, Nvidia's stock price is now possibly overstated, but if it is so valued by the market, then it is not just that. It means that many large investors are laying in the company a good further growth potential of the company's shares. As a leading chip company with access to leading markets in data center and gaming, Nvidia remains one to watch out for. That is why I already have in my portfolio the shares of the company, which I will continue to hold for many years. If you do not yet own the shares of this company and only wish to purchase them, then you can first buy at least one share, and then simply buy additional shares of this company as they further decrease. And if the decrease does not occur in the next 3 to 6 months, then just gradually increase the company's share in your investment portfolio. The information provided does not constitute an individual investment recommendation.